This is Scott from Indiana. Can you give some guidance regarding how to approach tax loss harvesting while managing a four-fund portfolio? I currently have a mix of total U.S. stock market, international stock market, bonds, and real estate across all my accounts. I attempted tax loss harvesting during the recent bear market, but unfortunately was unable to avoid a wash sale as I recently rebalanced and purchased both U.S. and international funds. However, that got me to thinking, even if I was able to tax loss harvest my total U.S. stock market fund, I do not know what I would have bought other than one of my other holdings. It seems that any harvesting opportunities in a four-fund portfolio would cause a worsening imbalance of my allocations. Is that just a major con of running a four-fund portfolio? Are there any tips you can give me on how to manage this better for the next bear market? Thanks for all your help.
Okay, this is a good question. How do you tax loss harvest with a four-fund portfolio? He basically ended up doing a wash sale recently because he kept buying the same fund over and over again. Remember, when you tax loss harvest, you cannot buy the same fund within 30 days before or after the time you sell it, or you don't get to count that loss against your taxes. So how do you do this? Well, no, you're not swapping for the other asset classes in your portfolio. When you tax loss harvest, you are swapping one fund in an asset class for another fund in that asset class. For example, you might sell some shares you bought recently from total stock market and buy some shares of an S&P 500 fund, right? That's usually a pretty good swap. The correlation between the two is like 0.99. It's easy to find good funds in both categories, and you get to capture that loss. But you're still invested in U.S. stocks either way. If you are swapping your total stock market fund for a total international stock market fund, yes, you could capture that loss, but you no longer have the same portfolio. You now have a portfolio that has less U.S. stocks and more international stocks in it than you wanted. The goal of tax loss harvesting is to capture that loss without actually changing your portfolio. And so, you're obviously not going to have just four funds if you do that, unless you sell all of your total stock market. You're now going to have 5 funds in there. It's still 4 asset classes. You have 4 types of investments in the portfolio, but you actually now have 5 funds. So I hope that's helpful. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.